Hey, everybody, and welcome to the Week 16 League Managers Note. As always, I'm joined by Joel Gibson. Joel, last week of the regular season, I'm the commish. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling good, operator. We are cruising right now at 7 straight wins, just cruising right towards that finish line. We are going to have that number 2 seed. Heard it here first. From dust to to gold, I guess.
To dawn, right?
Going for it.
Let me just say that we don't need to wait. You have clinched the number 2 seed.
Woo!
So, even if you lose this week, as long as you have the tiebreaker or better against Doug, Cody, and Matt can't even tie your record. So, really, it's just Doug and Cody. And I believe you split with both, or you might have beaten Doug both times.
Yeah, that sounds about right to me.
Yep.
So,
Yep.
It's mine, baby.
I'm so sick. I'm sick. Getting right into the matchups, we'll just bust through them pretty quickly. Doug beats Hobert in the first matchup, both 7-7 prior to this matchup. Dame just kicks the living shit out of the false champ.
Tough loss for the false champ. Toughy.
Tough, and, he's got to feel okay, though. He has clinched a spot in the playoffs, even with that loss, so at least he didn't go from champ to not making the playoffs.
Man, that would be a tough one.
Absolutely. The next matchup is CJ at Kyle. CJ won that.
Yeah, we predicted this one. Could have seen it coming.
Absolutely, and now CJ is tied records with Steven. There's Steven making next week very, very interesting, and we'll get to that.
I will say for one thing.
Yep.
Russell Westbrook seems to have turned it back on, or turned the DeLorean back, and is looking pretty good. And CJ is way more formidable when that happens.
Absolutely. It did take him 24 shots today to make 22 points. So, I mean,
it's not all smooth.
Next matchup was a bit of an upset here. We had Simmons beating Cody. Just putting it out. Simmons is like, I want no part of that tiebreaker with Adam. I'm just going to take destiny into my own hands. And he upsets Cody. Cody had a rough week as far as the Luka news, in my opinion. But taking a loss to Simmons here, he was the 2 seed 2 weeks ago. And now he's all the way down to 6.
Things have changed. Or things done changed. I hope that someone was smart enough to go pick up Jalen Brunson off the wire. Oh, wait. For $1.
For $1, and good outing from him. Speaking of which, we'll just kick your matchup out of the way. You were the only home team to win this week. Joel Gibson takes down Adam.
Get out of my house.
Yeah, Adam gave it his best shot, but at the end of the day, his team's just not deep enough. Adam, just like we were saying, it's really hard to win this league if you're not at the draft, big fella.
That's very true. It wasn't all blue skies for me, though. Kyrie dropped a 54-point outing, but he also dropped a knee. So we'll just see what happens. He's down this week. But I think we're going to be just fine.
At least it wasn't the ACL. It'd be a real bummer if they have to sit him with an MCL sprain again in that bad knee. It'd be a real shame, especially in the first round of the playoffs. Who knows?
That would be tough.
Next matchup, we've got... Well, we can do Modest beating Steven. Now, I really like this week. It didn't mean anything to me, but saying that I'm 14-1 makes me feel good. Both Steven and I didn't really cycle. So the fact that I could beat him straight up, he didn't have Harden one game. I didn't have Greek one game. So I thought it was a very telling situation. Yeah, he's still the 3 seed, though. He's not too injured. We love Steven.
Trae Young got a little bit dinged up this week. James Harden has been kind of finding his groove again, but he started the week off a little bit rough. I don't think this was Stevens' best outing. I think Porzingis missed a game as well.
He did, yep.
But ultimately, I think you're just built a little bit stronger.
Yeah, I didn't have Kemba or Capella this week.
That's
So
a good point.
let's all keep that in mind while we're evaluating Team Modest. If I could get healthy.
I think on the right week, though, Steven might be able to get you. He's pretty solid.
Absolutely, and those TDs, like if Harden's able to put one up, I don't get one every week. I'm close, but I don't get one every week. Harden is more guaranteed chance than a lot of my, especially with Ben Simmons playing the 5 now. Gotta love Philly, woo.
What the fuck?
Last matchup is now the I Don't Care Bowl. Eric at Neiman. Eric won again, passing Neiman. Neiman now's the 11. Eric is just for no reason decided to start winning games.
Not concerned about how many pieces of paper are going to be in that basket, I guess.
I guess so. 11's been really lucky. 12's never been pulled. 11's been pulled like 4 of the 6 times. So having that 11 could be very good for Neiman or whoever has Neiman's first round pick. That being said, next week has become very interesting, and here's why. There are 3 possible matchups in the exact home-away scenario that could happen the first round. What does that mean? That could mean 4 straight weeks of these matchups, all 3 of them. So I'm going to go through those 3 specifically first. We'll do the other 3 matchups. I'll do a little bit of tiebreaker, but as you'll see, there's just so many scenarios that it's almost silly to go over every single one. That being said, we'll start off with the false champs matchup. I'd like to call this game the passing of the torch ceremony. That'll include the next 3 weeks as well, if I have my say here. Matt plays at Modest. Modest, even injured, is crushing bitches. The Spurs aren't as good as they've been performing. And Modest might just want to beat up on the false champ for 4 straight weeks. I'm taking myself here.
Man, I'm picking you as well, and I really admire the effort to just pound on the false champ for 4 straight weeks. I think you should really go for it. Drop as many dollars as you need to this month. Matt, don't be afraid to do the same. Really try to make him draw out the big bits.
Okay, that's fine. That's fine. Go ahead, Hobert. I'm here. I'm ready. Next, that would be the 8 versus 1. I have Matt at 7 right now, but if I'm picking myself, he would move down to 8, and we'll get into that a little bit further. Next matchup is the number 5 at the number 4, Doug at CJ. Now, Doug has moved up past Cody because he has the tiebreaker with points. They've split their matchup. The conference record is the same. And Doug actually has the most points in the league. So if you get the whole way to points with Doug, he beats you. A lot of that was in part to Dame putting up like 6 straight 50-point games or some shit like that.
Unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable. Man, I'm going to have to pick Doug here. I'm staying with the hot hand, and I just don't know if CJ wants to waste more money. And Doug's the away team. Dame's hot. I'm picking Doug.
I'm having a tough time deciding this one, Cap. But
I'll have the same exact debate with myself at the start of the playoffs. And remember, I put Doug as a top 4 team at the beginning of the season. I just want to remind everybody, he went down a little bit, but has recovered nicely.
I will just say this, that if CJ wants it, Marc Gasol he could very easily put onto his IR, and Dario Saric is very droppable. That would be 2 cycle spots he could be running. With just, reckless abandon. Just go for it. If he decides to go the double cycle route, I think he can beat Doug.
It's very. Go ahead.
But if he does not apply the double cycle, it'll be Doug's.
This matchup directly interacts with Cody at Steven, this next matchup. And the reason why I say that is 3 through 6 right now, those two matchups. Cody and Doug have the same record. CJ and Steven have the same record. Both of the East players are playing at the West players. So a lot of it goes into who's going to win that Steven matchup. If CJ thinks that Steven's going to win, CJ holds off because it's not going to matter. He has that 2-game lead. He still gets that 4 spot. If he thinks there's a chance that Cody can beat Steven without Luka, then he wants to win this matchup. So for me, if I'm CJ, I'm not spending all that money unless I think for some reason Steven's going to lose at home to Cody without Luka. So for that's the reason why I picked Doug in that situation.
That makes sense to me.
It's a logical one.
I hear your logic. I'll take Doug.
That being said, just like I said, Cody is right now in the 6th spot. He's at Steven in the 3 spot. This is also a possible first round matchup. Without Luka and Steven having Harden, I think Steven's going to win this one pretty handedly.
Cody has mentioned to me in the past that he was down Luka and Kat and beat Steven before. That's very, very impressive. Do it twice for me because I am picking Steven this week.
Absolutely. So we both have Steven as finishing as the number 2 or number 3 seed. And there's a certain situation here where Cody losing this game and Matt beating me this week could lead to Cody actually coming as like the 7th seed. And that's a long fall. So I'm actually interested. I think Cody has a little bit to play for. I just don't know if he has enough or wants to waste that free agent money to chase it. Outside of that, the next 3 matchups, Neiman is playing you at home. You have the 2 seed, win or lose. You're not going to cycle. Maybe Neiman gets lucky. I don't know why he'd give up that 11 spot, though. I'm picking you.
I'm picking myself as well. I'm down Kyrie, but, full hearts can't lose, whatever. We're going to go get it. Jokic is just a fucking monster.
Yep.
We're going to be just fine.
He must have cut down to 1 cheeseburger a day. The next matchup is going to be Kyle at Simmons. I don't see a scenario here where Kyle wins. Theoretically, if Simmons loses and Adam wins, Adam would have to win by 96 points over Simmons to have all 3 to get into the playoffs. So it's a very, very slim scenario for Adam to get into the playoffs. And even if that's the case, I just don't know if Kyle has enough bodies to really beat Simmons. I'm taking Simmons.
I'm taking Simmons as well.
And kudos to Simmons for making it into the playoffs. He's been in a tough spot all season. His division record was shitty. He has beaten me, so he's definitely not a joke. Any of the top 4 seeds should be wary of playing Simmons in the first round.
I would agree with that.
That being said, we've got Eric at Adam. Like I said, Adam has to win. He has to beat Simmons by 95 points to even get into the playoffs. Kyle has to beat Simmons to make any of that possible. So realistically, this is the number 10 versus the number 9 team. Eric has nothing to play for. I don't know why he wins this game, in my opinion. It'll all be down to what happens between Kyle and Simmons. I'm taking Adam.
When it comes to reason, I haven't found Eric to be motivated by that. I think he's going to go for it and go win it.
Why not? He's had a strong second half, so a win would be definitely interesting. Outside of that, nothing really more to say. I mean, the conference, Joel, you had the best conference record, 6-3. I had the best at a 9-0. No conference losses. That's right. West.
Wow.
Go West. Anything else? It's the last week, and then it's playoffs. Then it gets real.
It's been a hell of a season. I've really enjoyed it this year. It's been trying. It's not been all easy getting there.
Yep.
But look at me now, the 2 seed.
Unbelievable. Now that Eric's been eliminated from the playoffs, if you are not the unanimous underdog for this season, it will be a stacked vote. And I'm saying that on camera to everybody. You can't say that 5 weeks, well, even 7 weeks ago, you've won 7 straight. You were at 2-6, last in the East, and won 7 straight to get the 2 seed. That is textbook underdog, in my opinion. You should at least get that.
I agree. Underdog this year. It needs to happen.
Yeah. Well, MVO, I mean, with a 9-0 conference record and only 1 loss, I think should also be unanimous, and I haven't won an MVO yet, so I'm pretty excited. I'm pretty excited to get my first one.
Oh, I thought you were nominating me for that.
No.
I was about to say, I got several. Maybe one day you'll get your own, but we do the votes after the season or in the playoffs?
We can do them during the playoffs. Maybe we'll do them. We'll probably do them over All-Star break, but it's just regular season awards. So why on earth would we?
That's a good point.
You know what I mean? The trophy is the reward for the playoff portion.
We should look at the history of how many MVOs ended up being champions.
I think every MVO of the prior season has been the champion.
Man, very likely the indicator of who will win the year. Maybe this.
I sure hope so. I sure hope so. People's Champ 2020. Here he goes. He's going. He can do it.
You know, the story of a true underdog is the one who takes it away from the potential champ, the MVO.
I just like the thing that pisses me off is you've done a 1-loss championship. You did 3 championships in a row. But if you beat me after starting out 2-6 in the championship as the away team, I think that's your best championship. That's definitely to reclaim your title from the false champ.
Man, oh, I want it so bad. Sometimes I just dream about it. I dream. Actually, let me take that back. I dream about it most days.
Well, look out for Doug and look out for Steven and CJ as well. Any of those top 5. And don't sleep on Simmons. I am very nervous about how open this field is here at the end. It's going to be such a streaming strategy. Who's going to pay the most on the right days? Free agent is going to be next level this season. We've never seen anything like this in the past. So many teams have a lot of money to play with. It's going to be very interesting.
It's competitive as a motherfucker out there.
Absolutely insane. Well, with that, we'll just say goodbye, and we'll see everybody next week for round 1 of the playoffs. Here we go, fellas. Good luck this week.
Good luck, fellas.
Later.